Natasha, and thank you so much for joining me today. Well, today we are basically going to hack bows. Bow making can be a whole thing. Now, there are tools out there to help you make a perfect bow. There is a lot of practice usually involved to make a perfect bow, but I want to show you how to make a perfect bow today. Basically, the cheats method, and we're going to turn it into some cards because these are not only so easy to make, but they are super cute, and that's what we want. So I'm going to be starting out with this little background piece today. This is from LDRS Mixed Scallop Rectangle die set, and I used the biggest one from this one. Now, this just has sort of every size that you could possibly need for creating little borders, little card fronts, all the good things. You will have seen me use it solidly for the last 6 months or so because it's such a good set. Now, one other thing that you need here is going to be some kind of brads. Now, I'm doing a bow with brads, but honestly, like if you want to use a, like a twisty tie with wire in it, or even like a pipe cleaner kind of thing, then you could put that in the middle and you could hot glue a button over top, or really anything. But I'm going to show you a really quick method with brads today. It doesn't matter what brads, you know, the sort of split pin brad is what I'm talking about. And then I'm going to grab some ribbon. This one is cheap and cheerful. As you can see, maybe that's dependent on the country that you come from, but here definitely in New Zealand, this one is very cheap and cheerful. And all you need to do is cut off a little length of ribbon. It doesn't really matter, and also it depends on how wide your ribbon is. All you need to do is make this little sort of bow here. This is kind of what I would call like the breast cancer bow, you know, the little pins that at least here in New Zealand we wear. I mean, there's several different versions of them for different causes, but the gorgeous little bows that you can pin on your top, you just cross it over. I'm going to show you a few more times. You want to get your brad, your split pin ready with the little pins open and wide, and then get it into this little bow, like I said, just crossed over like this, very simple, and then just push the center down and gather it in the middle. I sort of scrunch it a little bit like that, ready to put the brad or the split pin right across the center, and then I just close it up. Now, I kind of close it up so that the pins are still facing backwards because I'm going to attach these to my card. If you want, you would obviously flatten them at the back if you just want to pop them down somewhere flat, or if you want to use hot glue or something. But look how easy this gorgeous bow gets put together. Really, really simple, and it looks like a proper little bow. If you want, you could obviously add in some like hot glue to secure it, but honestly with this split pin, it's going to go into the card and it truly is not going anywhere. I usually tidy up the ends of my little ribbon just so it's got a nice little fishtail or something like that at the end. But let's make these into a card. So I usually get 3 or so pieces for this particular design, and I'm just going to cross it over like I mentioned. So you sort of just cross it over, have the big loop at the top, and then push it down, and that's it. That creates your bow. Very, very simple. You can see I've got my brad or my split pin ready to go, nice and wide just so it goes over easily. And then you can sort of pull around and adjust. With all bows, you sort of have to do that. And then I close it up at the back and wait till it is ready to go on my card. So it is so simple to put together. These are all some little sort of vintagey looking bows, brads, for this one that I'm going to be using, but you can truly use any. And as I said, if you don't want to use bows, then you can use something like pipe cleaners or something like that and twist it around and then add a button or add something else to the top that you might want to use as a little center. You know, it might be a little belt buckle or a little, some sort of little gimmick that you could pop on the top with some glue. Now, I'm going to take a little sharp pokey tool. This is not necessarily what it's meant for, but it's going to do the job really well. I'm going to poke 3 holes in my piece here. It doesn't matter what these look like because they are going to be well covered up. Even if you stab it in the wrong place and you need to make another hole again, still going to be well covered up. I am taking one of my bows, and as I mentioned, I sort of put my little, the legs of the split pin, I have put it directly facing like straight out at the moment, so I can just pop both of them through the little hole and then I will split them to keep it secure and in place. And of course, the best part about this is, yes, the front is, you know, sort of mediumly bulky, I guess, but the back is completely flat. So that does make it nice and easy when you're attaching it to a card or anything like that. as I mentioned, if you want, you don't have to have the brad or the split pin at the front. You could use other things to make this card a little slimmer if you want to. But even making these to go on top of gifts or presents, it's really fun. This can be for birthdays. This one here is actually going to be a baby card because I had a couple of people rummage through my stash recently and I am well out of them. And I usually don't necessarily know unless I'm reaching for one myself. So when I get a couple of people being like, yeah, I wish there was some baby cards. Well, it's time to make them. This could, of course, be a birthday card. There are lots of other designs that you could use, but this bow is just a handy one to have up your sleeve if you don't want to do the actual folding part of bows. It sort of feels like a bit of a cheats bow, a faux bow if you like, but nonetheless we are making a gorgeous baby card. Now I don't have many baby sentiments, welcome baby sentiments, so I'm not gonna lie, I'm pulling out an extreme oldie here. This is by far my most used I made so many cards. You can see this is very well loved, but so good. And I have no idea how many years. This must be 6, 7, 8, 9 maybe years old. I don't know when this one was released, but it's a goodie. This is going to say a little bundle is here. These are for a little baby boy, obviously. You could definitely change up the colors. And I'm going to show you another card in just a minute that I made as well that is obviously going to be a little more versatile for gender. But I just popped this, I have just stamped it onto a plain piece of rectangle. It was a little scrap that had been trimmed off the side of something. So I then put some fishtails in the end of it, put some foam tape on the back so that it's not going to be hidden behind those beautiful little bows. I have got some a gorgeous blue cardstock. This one is from Gina K, and then this is going to go directly on here. As I mentioned, those split pins are completely flat, so this card is going to lie nice and flat as well. If you have bulkier pins or something else going on, then add a little bit of 1mm foam tape to the back, and that gives you a tiny bit of dimension, but also gives you the security of making sure everything is staying in place. Take the little sentiment that I have made, and it's going to go, you can either put it underneath the bow tails, but I decided to put it on top just so that it stood out nice and clear. But truly, this card took me maybe 10 or so minutes to make. I had already had the background piece, the card front was already die cut, I will say, but super quick card to make, and yet pretty cute and ready to go. I'm also going to make one that might be a little less gender specific. Yes, it's on a pink card, but I've got a little pink, green and blue brads that go in the center there, and I would feel comfortable giving this to any little new arrival. So same sentiment, same way that I did the little fishtails on the end, popped it up, and then we'll pop it in here. I know this one's quite hard to see the white bows. Obviously this card is super textured, it has a lot going on in the front. It's really stunning and gorgeous. You can see the photos for a little closer up look. I hope you enjoyed having a look at how I do my little faux bows, and I hope that you give this one a go. But as usual, everything is linked below if you need more information on anything. See you there. Bye.